There he goes. Oh, it doesn't get any better than that. Hey guys, in this instalment of Journey of a Fisherman Care for Your Gear, we're about to get ready for the game fishing season. We've got some new rod and reels, and I just want to show you a few tips and tricks on what we do to prolong the life and get some extra value out of our gear. Corrosion is a big thing in the ocean, and there's a lot of moving parts in here, or you know, parts that are screwing up that salt water can get in and cause corrosion. So what we'd like to do is form a barrier. We've got on the rod and reel, there's about 2 points that we really worry about. The first one is where the alloy butt slides in here. We want to put a liberal coating of grease on here and just form a little barrier. Liberal coating of grease on there. The other part is where the nut comes down to secure that, where the thread is. We also put a liberal coating of grease in there. Just rub it in there with your fingers, get it in there. There you go, and we can put that back together, and it's all nicely sealed up, and the grease is going to stop any corrosion. What we're using is a really good quality marine/reel grease to form that barrier. So we know it's ideal for the conditions that we're going to be fishing in. Now that we've got that all sealed up, this is the money shot in my eyes. You've got stainless steel here on the reel seat coming onto the butt, which is alloy. So there's two different types of metal. We all know stainless steel and alloy, they like to corrode when they're resting up against each other. So what I like to do is form a barrier, a Nonskid mat. It's quite porous, got holes in it, it's rubbery, and in my eyes it's actually a really good barrier, between the two metals. So what I do is put a liberal coating of grease down there on the stainless steel, lay the non-skid mat down on top of that, and then put another layer of grease on top of that. And what that's going to do is it's going to form a nice sort of barrier between the two metals. It's got a lot of grease in there, and it's also it's going to stop any water penetration in there. We've also got our reel seat clamp. Same thing, that's alloy against alloy with salt water in between. It's going to form corrosion, so we can do the same thing here. Layer of grease in there, another little bit of non-skid mat that I've cut up just before into there, and another layer of grease. We also put a good amount of grease in between the nuts that go onto the top of that reel seat. They're also stainless steel, and they're also resting against alloy, so you've got two inferior metals there. Okay, we've got a bit going on here of all this grease, so first thing to do is make sure you got it the right way around. Slide that in nice and carefully, hold that, and then push that top of the reel seat down on top of there, and tighten her up. You're going to have a bit of excess grease everywhere, but you can clean that up at the end of the job. I like to see the grease coming out, then you've got it in there. What happens is you're out fishing, you're getting a lot of salt water spraying all over your gear all day long, and it is hard to clean it out, and this just really helps and protect it. Okay, now you've got that screwed on, you've got it pretty tight. The first thing you want to do is just to make sure, put your eye down that, make sure the orientation is perfect and the reel is at right angles to the guides. We've done that. Put a bit of grease, a bit more grease on the top of here, on the reel seat, and then the reel seat clamp can go on. We've got a lot of grease around the holes there, so we're not going to get into corrosion with our nuts. Nothing worse than a bit of corrosion on your nuts, eh? But yeah, so there you go. And now we can start screwing. Oh, this is getting pretty dirty in it, but anyway, off we go. And you want to get this nice and parallel too. There's nothing worse than a nice expensive reel and you've got your reel seat all crooked. And I like to have all my screws facing the same way as well. So now it's starting to get a bit tight here now, so now we're just going to do half turns on each side just to try and keep it nice and even. You don't want to over tighten this, it is alloy, and you don't want to crack it. So there we go, we're pretty happy with that. Everything's looking nice and even. As you can see now, we've got the grease that's starting to come out in between here. We know that we've got a good barrier in there, and you just grab your rag, wipe all your excess off, check it again, make sure it's nice and straight, which it is. And there you go, we've got a nice, well protected, expensive rod and reel that we know is not going to get corrosion in there. And so when you check that at the end of the season, it's going to be all good. Now we're going to get on to the next job, which we'll do on a later video, but we're going to spool this up with Power Pro 100-pound hollow, and we're going to do a top shot with the Suffix 80-pound mono. If you want to learn how to do the splice, we've also got lots of videos on that on our YouTube channel or journeyofafisherman.com. For all the rods, reels, lures and terminal tackle and some great advice, call in and meet your team at your local Hunting and Fishing New Zealand store. And for more inspiring online fishing content, visit journeyofafisherman.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel.